Let's begin by addressing the single greatest obstacle standing between you and your freedom, the story you are telling yourself about this relationship. You've constructed a narrative, a complex web of justifications where her behavior is not what it plainly is, but something more nuanced, more understandable. You tell yourself she's just passionate, that her jealousy is a flattering sign of how much she cares, that her criticism is only because she sees your potential and wants you to be better. I need you to understand something fundamental about the human psyche. We are meaning-making machines. Our brains would rather create a complicated, painful story that makes sense of chaos than sit with the terrifyingly simple truth that we are in danger. You have chosen the intricate lie over the simple, brutal fact. The intricate lie is that if you could just love her better, communicate more perfectly, or finally figure out the right combination of words and actions, you could unlock the gentle, loving woman you believe exists inside her. The simple, brutal fact is that the person showing you who they are through their consistent actions is the real her. The version you're in love with is a phantom, a potential that does not exist and likely never will. This is what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental anguish of holding two conflicting beliefs at once. I am a smart, capable man, and I am in a relationship where I am constantly demeaned and controlled. To resolve this agony, your mind doesn't choose to leave the situation that proves the second belief true. Instead, it contorts itself to make the abuse make sense. It becomes your fault. You provoked her. You shouldn't have said that. You should have known better. This is the illusion. You have been drafted into a game where the rules are written, rewritten, and enforced by her, all designed to ensure you can never win, but will never stop trying. You are trying to find logic in a system built on emotional terrorism. And let's be philosophically clear about one thing: the why behind her behavior is irrelevant to your obligation to save yourself. Was she hurt in the past? Probably. Does she have deep-seated insecurities and unhealed trauma? Almost certainly. But here is the critical distinction: her past may explain her behavior, but it does not excuse it, and it absolutely does not obligate you to endure it. Your compassion is being weaponized against you. Your empathy has become your prison. You have mistaken being a good man for being a martyr. Your primary duty is not to be her therapist, her savior, or the emotional custodian of her unresolved pain. Your sacred, non-negotiable duty is to be the guardian of your own peace, the protector of your own sanity. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and more importantly, you should not be asked to pour your essence into a cup with a hole in the bottom. This first step isn't about confronting her. It's about confronting the mirror. It's about finally silencing the internal negotiator and listening to the primal part of you that knows with absolute certainty that this is wrong. That part of you has been whispering to you all along, buried under layers of hope, fear, and obligation. It's the knot in your stomach before you go home. It's the exhaustion you feel after a simple conversation. It's the slow, chilling realization that you feel more alone in her presence than you ever do by yourself. That is not love. That is the cost of abandoning yourself to serve a fantasy. The foundation of your escape is not a grand gesture, but a simple, sober admission: see what is, not what you wish it to be. Now, I want you to do a very difficult thing. I want you to step outside of yourself for a moment, to look at the man you are today, right now, in this relationship, and compare him to the man you were before you entered it. Not who you think you are, or who you present to the world to save face, but the raw, unfiltered truth of you. Do you recognize him, or does he feel like a distant cousin to your former self, someone with your face, but dimmer, quieter, more anxious? This is not your imagination. This is not a phase. This is the systematic, slow-motion erosion of yourself, and it is the most damning evidence of the relationship's toxicity. A healthy relationship should be a sanctuary. It is a psychological space where, in the presence of another, you feel safe enough to become more fully yourself. Your quirks are cherished, your ambitions are cheered, your vulnerabilities are met with compassion, not weaponized. What you are in is the precise opposite. It is not a sanctuary. It is a courtroom where you are perpetually on trial, and the verdict is always guilty. You are constantly monitoring your tone, editing your opinions, suppressing your needs, and performing a version of yourself you hope will finally earn you a day of peace. You are in a state of hypervigilance, which is a fancy psychological term for being utterly exhausted. You are walking on eggshells not because the floor is fragile, but because she has laid a minefield and convinced you it's your job to tiptoe through it. This has a profound neurological impact. This constant state of stress and anxiety, This relentless criticism, both overt and subtle, rewires your brain. It reinforces a devastating neural pathway that whispers on a loop, "You are not good enough. You are the problem. If you were smarter, funnier, more attentive, she wouldn't be this way." You internalize her voice until it becomes your own inner critic, the most brutal one you've ever had. This is how you are psychologically dismantled. Piece by piece, your confidence is chipped away, your autonomy is questioned. Your reality is gaslit, and your social circle, your other sources of validation and support, are strategically isolated until she becomes the sole arbiter of your worth. You are being unselved. And what is the currency you're using to pay for this? What is the cost of this so-called peace? You are paying with your mental health, with your joy, with the light in your eyes that your friends and family noticed has gone out. You are paying with the hobbies you've abandoned because they annoyed her, the friendships you've let with her because she deemed them a threat, the career opportunities you didn't take because it would have upset the precarious balance of her insecurities. You are sacrificing your entire ecosystem on the altar of her disorder. You are setting yourself on fire to keep her warm, and she's still complaining about the draft. This is the grand, tragic paradox of your situation. You stay because you believe leaving would be a failure, a destruction of the life you've built. But I need you to see the truth. The life you've built is already destroyed. It has been hollowed out from the inside. You are merely inhabiting the shell of it, going through the motions, playing a role in a play that has long since stopped being enjoyable for anyone, especially you. You are paying a premium for a product you are not even receiving. The price is your very soul, and the return is a fleeting, conditional respite from the very abuse you are paying to endure. The man you were is not gone. He is buried. Expand key point 3 into a 700-word segment that flows naturally within the overall speech, aligning seamlessly with the other key points. The tone should be intellectual and authoritative, yet accessible, mirroring Sadia Khan approach. The language should be clear and direct, with a focus on psychological and philosophical depth. Avoid any formal headings, keeping the delivery conversational, as if speaking to an audience in a lecture or interview format. Conclude with a powerful, concise closing statement that leaves the audience with something to of course. Here is the expanded segment for key point 3. Now, let's address the most seductive and paralyzing of all the lies you tell yourself, the lie that you can fix this. That if you just find the right combination of words, the perfect gesture of love, the superhuman level of patience, you will somehow break through and heal the wound within her that causes this behavior. This belief is the chain that keeps you locked in place, and it is born from a fundamental misunderstanding of both your role and the nature of the problem itself. You are not her architect, you are her audience. You are not her healer, you are her hostage. The compulsion to fix her is not a noble calling. It is a trauma response, often rooted in a savior complex that mistakenly equates self-sacrifice with love. You believe your endurance is a virtue. It is not, it is enabling. Every time you absorb her abuse and then stay, every time you accept a half-hearted apology and return to the status quo, you are not calming the storm, you are teaching her, in the clearest terms possible, that there is no consequence for the storm. You are reinforcing the very behavior you hope to extinguish. You are, quite literally, pouring your energy into a black hole, wondering why it never gets full, all while you are starving to death. This is tied to a cognitive bias known as the sunk cost fallacy. You look at the years you've invested, the memories you've created, the love you did feel in those fleeting good moments, and you think, I cannot leave because of all I have put in. You are trying to rationalize past investment by committing to a future of guaranteed loss. It's like refusing to leave a burning building because you paid a lot for the furniture. The furniture is already on fire. The past is gone. It is a sunk cost. The only thing that matters now is preserving what remains, so you've acknowledged the reality. You've seen the cost. You understand you cannot fix her. Now we arrive at the most critical, practical juncture, the how. How do you extricate yourself from a gravitational pull that feels so absolute? The answer lies in a complete psychological shift. You must stop thinking like a partner negotiating a breakup and start thinking like a strategist executing an extraction. This is not a dialogue, it is a decision that you communicate through action, not words. The single most important rule is this: silence is your strategy. You cannot and must not announce your departure in advance. To do so is to invite a theatrical performance designed for one purpose only: to re-hook you. You will be met with a tsunami of emotions, tears, rage, promises of eternal change, declarations of undying love, all of which are not genuine epiphanies, but tools in a well-used toolbox. This is known as the extinction burst, a psychological phenomenon where a behavior intensifies right before it fades away. When she senses she is losing control, she will unleash every tactic she has ever used to regain it, but with more force and intensity than ever before. Your compassion. Your desire to be kind and not hurt her is the exact vulnerability this explosion is designed to target. Do not give her the stage for this final, manipulative performance. Your exit must be a fait accompli, a thing that has already been done. This means planning with the quiet precision of a military operation. Secure your essentials first: important documents, personal items of sentimental value, financial assets. Stash a bag at a trusted friend's house or in your car. Open a separate bank account if your finances are entangled. Change your passwords on everything: email, social media, phone, not after you leave, but before. This isn't about secrecy, it's about security. It is about removing points of leverage she can use to pull you back in or inflict damage on her way out. Form a small, trusted circle of people before you execute the plan. You must have witnesses to your reality. This serves two crucial psychological purposes. First, it creates a system of accountability. Telling someone, "I am leaving on Tuesday," makes it infinitely harder to back down on Wednesday. Second, it inoculates you against the inevitable smear campaign. She will control the narrative by playing the victim. By having people who already know the truth, you protect yourself from isolation and self-doubt. Your reality is validated and held safe by your allies. Then, you choose your moment. You do it cleanly, quickly, and without drama. When she is out, or when you are in a public place where escalation is less likely, you leave. Or you have her removed, if the home is yours. You send one clear, unequivocal, and final message: this relationship is over. I will not be discussing this further. I need space and I ask that you do not contact me. Then you block her. On everything, you are not being cruel. You are performing surgery on a cancerous growth. You do not negotiate with a tumor. You do not offer it explanations. You remove it, cleanly and completely, to save the life of the host organism. And that host is you. This is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is the moment you stop talking about your boundaries and become them. You are demonstrating, through decisive action, that your word is final, your peace is non-negotiable, and your life is your own. You are replacing the endless, circular, draining conversation with a single, unambiguous action that speaks louder than any words ever could. You must understand that a clean break is not an act of cruelty. It is the only form of mercy this dynamic allows. You've done the bravest thing. You've left. The door is closed. And now, the silence feels deafening. This is the most vulnerable moment, because the battle is no longer out in the open. It moves inward into the landscape of your own mind. This is where they know you are weakest, and this is where the final, and perhaps most sophisticated, assault will begin. You must be prepared for it not as a wounded partner, but as a strategist safeguarding your hard-won freedom. This phase is not a sign you made a mistake. It is the predictable, final thrashing of the dying dynamic. The first weapon she will deploy is what psychologists call hoovering. Named after the vacuum cleaner because it's designed to suck you back in. Expect the love bomb. The pleading text messages that say, "You're my soulmate." The tearful voicemails claiming, "I've seen the light, I'm in therapy. I'll change everything." She might send a letter handwritten on that stationery you liked, or have a flower delivery sent to your door. This is not a genuine transformation. It is a performance, a mirror she is holding up reflecting exactly what she knows you desperately want to see. It is the emotional equivalent of a fisherman throwing the best possible bait into the water because she knows exactly what you hunger for. She is appealing to the very compassion that kept you trapped for so long. You must see it for what it is, a trauma bond attempting to reattach. The withdrawal from this addictive cycle is physically and mentally agonizing, and your body will crave the very thing that was poisoning it. Your mind will romanticize the good times, editing out the misery, whispering that it wasn't that bad. This is a biochemical lie. Do not trust it. When love bombing fails, the narrative will shift. She will become the victim. This is the smear campaign. She will meticulously craft a story for your mutual friends, your social circle, perhaps even your family, where she is the heartbroken heroine and you are the cold, cruel villain who abandoned her without explanation. She will harvest sympathy and weaponize it against you. People you thought were your friends may turn on you, sending you messages asking, "How could you do this to her?" This is designed to achieve two things. First, to isolate you, making you doubt your own reality and feel utterly alone, thus driving you back to the only person who understands what you're going through her. Second, it's to protect her fragile ego. She cannot face the truth of her own behavior, so the story must be rewritten where she is blameless. Your integrity is a threat to that false narrative, so it must be destroyed. Your defense against both tactics is the same unwavering, silent resolve. You do not engage with the hoovering. You do not respond to the text. You do not answer the call. You throw the letter away. You block every avenue of communication. This is not you being heartless, it is you being heart-smart. You are refusing to play the game. With the smear campaign, you offer no defense. You do not waste your energy trying to correct the narrative with everyone she talks to. You simply know your truth. The people who matter, the ones who know your character, will not need an explanation. The ones who believe her without question were never your allies. This process is a brutal but effective filter for your life, separating the authentic from the superficial. You must anticipate this backlash not as a possibility, but as a certainty. Mentally prepare for it. Write down a list of the worst things she did, the most painful things she said, and keep it on your phone. When the doubt creeps in, when the loneliness feels unbearable, read it. Remember the reality of what you escaped. This is not dwelling on the past, it is anchoring yourself in the truth, to avoid being swept away by a nostalgic fantasy. The aftermath of leaving is not a peaceful void. It is a contested space. Guard it with the ferocity of someone who knows exactly what is at stake your entire future. You have endured the cognitive dissonance. You have mourned the erosion of yourself. You have resisted the hoover and weathered the smear campaign. And now you find yourself standing in the quiet. And this quiet can feel terrifying. It can feel like loneliness. It can feel like a void. I need you to understand that this is not a void. This is space. And space is the most precious commodity you have just gifted yourself. This is not the end of your story. It is the first blank page of the one you were always meant to write. What you are feeling in this silence is not the absence of something good. It is the absence of something familiar. Your nervous system has been calibrated to chaos, to walking on eggshells, to the adrenaline spikes of conflict and the seductive relief of false reconciliation. Peace, in its raw form, will feel foreign. It will feel almost boring. You may even feel a pull to disrupt it yourself, because the calm is so unfamiliar it registers as something being wrong. This is the final ghost of the trauma bond. It is the emotional equivalent of a phantom limb. You must sit with this discomfort. You must breathe into this quiet and understand that this is not emptiness, it is neutrality. And neutrality is the fertile ground from which a healthy life grows. It is the stable foundation upon which you can finally rebuild. And who are you rebuilding? Not the man you were before her. That man is gone. And that is a good thing. You are not going back. You are moving forward. You are integrating the lessons of this ordeal into a stronger, wiser, more self-aware version of yourself. This is about reclamation. Reclaim your time. The hours once spent managing her emotions can now be spent on a forgotten hobby, on learning, on rest. Reclaim your friendships, slowly, authentically, rebuilding connections based on mutual joy, not shared trauma. Reclaim your mind. The mental real estate once occupied by decoding her texts is now free for creativity, for ambition, for simply being present. This process is about rediscovering your agency. For so long, your actions were reactions. Your moods were dictated. Your life was a response to her needs. Now you get to choose. What do you like to eat? What movie do you want to watch? How do you want to spend a Saturday? These may seem like small, insignificant questions, but they are profoundly powerful acts of self-definition. Each choice is a brick in the foundation of your new life. You are learning the language of your own preferences again. You are coming home to yourself. This journey is not about becoming someone who never gets hurt again. It is about becoming someone who trusts themselves to handle the hurt. The goal is not to build an impenetrable fortress around your heart, but to develop a sophisticated internal compass that knows when to open and, more importantly, when to protect. The wisdom from this experience is not that all people are toxic, it's that you now possess the invaluable ability to discern between what nourishes you and what poisons you, and you have proven to yourself that you have the strength to walk away from the poison. The man on the other side of this pain is more whole than the one who entered it. He is not broken, he is seasoned. He understands the value of peace because he has paid for it with his sweat and tears. He understands boundaries because he has felt the catastrophic cost of not having them. He understands his own worth because he has fought to reclaim it. This ordeal, as hellish as it was, can become the forge that tempered your character, if you choose to see it that way. Your future is not a question mark waiting for her answer. It is an answer you are now free to write yourself.